Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla. If you're new here, you should definitely subscribe. Today I'm going to show you all the books that I have read so far this year. So from January to June, these are all the books I've read in order with ratings. I'm going to jump right into it because we have quite a few to go through. First up is Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. This is the second book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I gave this book 4 stars. I loved almost everything about it. I read it super quickly. I was very intrigued the whole time. Did not get bored. But at the end, everything unraveled way too fast. It should have been drawn out a bit more and I don't know. Maybe I was just reading so fast that it seemed like it unraveled too fast. But I was kind of disappointed because everything connected incredibly. But it was just one after another, no break to analyze anything. It was this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. Didn't give you a time to catch your breath. It just kept on going. So I just wish the ending was broken up more, but other than that, it was an amazing, incredible read. The first one was also amazing. Highly recommend this series. Next up is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I don't know what happened to this book. I don't know where I put it. So we have a lovely picture of it here. This book is about Piper and Brendan, and they were so cute together. Everyone compares this book to Schitt's Creek, which I don't think is very accurate. The whole idea that this rich girl is going to a small town, that's about the only thing that really is the same. The whole plot's completely different, but I still love the setting. It was very cute, small town vibes. The love story was adorable, very spicy, so keep that in mind. Overall, I gave this one 3 stars. On to the next, we have Verity. My family shares a ton of books with each other because we're all obsessed with reading. So one of them have this book. I don't know where, but Verity was insanity. Crazy, wild, absurd, psycho, so many things. Crazy. I gave it 5 stars and I am team manuscript. I don't want to give too much of my opinion on this because I'm very passionate about why I'm team manuscript, and if you want a whole TikTok about that, a spoiler-filled TikTok, let me know and I'll make it. But that's all I'm gonna say for here because it's a crazy book. It's insane. Then we have Without Merit by Colleen Hoover, and this book was very disappointing. One of the most disappointing books I've read. I gave it 3 stars, which looking back on it is quite generous because I remember it as a 1.5 or 2. This whole book felt random and scattered and not cohesive at all. Some of the things that happened were so out of pocket. Curveballs left and right. You don't know what you're getting into. The first half was okay. I was excited to see where the story was going. And then the second half of the book felt like a depression and suicide awareness book. It didn't feel like a story anymore. It was you're reading someone's terrible story and why you shouldn't do it. You know? Not what I wanted to read about or enjoyed. I don't know. The way it was written was very educational rather than a story. Check trigger warnings in this before you read it, but I don't recommend. Then I went on to another disappointing book that was extremely overhyped by everyone on Book Talk. Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto. I gave this 2 stars, and let me tell you why it got those 2 stars. 1 star was because it was very quick and easy. I didn't dedicate too much of my life to reading this book, so I was okay, I can get a star for that. And the 2nd star was based on the little love story that finally came together. Oh my god. This book was the most repetitive book I've ever read. It could have lost a minimum of 50 pages and would have been the same exact story. They just kept talking in circles about the same thing. The whole situation that happened at the beginning of this book happened the whole time, the same exact conversation, and it was driving me insane when I was reading it. I really was annoyed while I was reading this. Overall, I guess it's a fun book, but the way it was executed is so repetitive and unnecessary. So 2 stars from me. I would not recommend this, and I've heard terrible things about the second one, so I will not be reading that one either. I'm feeling a little harsh today. I promise we're getting into some good ones. Next up is Hook, Line, and Sinker. This is the second one after It Happened One Summer. This one is about the sister Hannah and a guy named Fox. They are also very cute, just like Brendan and Piper. I gave this one a 4 stars. It was a very quick read, nice, lighthearted romance. There was some spice in this, but I don't think it was nearly as much as the first one. I highly recommend this for like a nice summer vibe, light romance. Very good book. Then we have I'm Glad My Mom Died, but oh my god, why can't I speak? By Jeanette. Okay. Then we have I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I was so excited to read this book, and it was 5 stars. It had so many emotions. At some parts, it was really hard to read just because, like, it's so emotional and traumatic, I guess. Make sure you look at the trigger warnings because it has a lot of things in this book. Yeah, some parts were hard to read, but overall, it was great. I loved it. Everyone should read this book if you can. It's hard to read, so, like, check triggers and everything, but read it. Then I moved on to a lighthearted read after that last one, and I went to Crushing It by Lorelei Parker. This is a random thing. I think I got it at Goodwill, just like a random book I found. I gave it 3.75 stars. It was a very quick read. It had a lot about video games and nerdy stuff, which I thought was fun because I work at a nerdy store, so I related to a lot of it. And the love story in this was so cute. There's some like second chance romance in here. There's enemies to lovers. It's pretty good. I remember it being a little bit better than what I rated it. I would give it like 4 stars now. So I highly recommend. It's a very quick read, short book, but there's a lot packed in here. Next up is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I also have no idea where this book went. Like, I had this book. I can't find it anywhere in the RV. It just disappeared. I don't remember getting rid of it, but apparently I did. I don't know. I put off reading this book for at least a year. Like, I had it in my possession for quite a long time and just never read it. Always put it off. I finally picked it up. Amazing. Amazing. Gave it 5 stars. It's almost a 6-star read, but not quite. It didn't give me that feeling, but it's a solid 5 stars. The way it was written, like, it's so good. I'm thinking about it even more now, and I'm like, oh, I want to reread it. The way it was written was perfect, and I feel like the message got across so well. Highly recommend. Everyone needs to read this book because it's like, it's so good, and it's mostly set in the past, like 19 whatevers, I don't remember. And then it's in present tense as well, but when it was written in the past, it was written really well, and usually I get bored with that. I was not bored at all. And the ending plot twist, oh my god, I think I cried. The part with the car, if you've read it, that affected me. That, like, I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. Crazy. Anyway, we're gonna move on because I could talk about that book for a long time. Now we're getting into April. The first book I read was Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Love, love, love this book, okay? And I got the exclusive cover, and it's all like oily and pretty. This is a solid 5 stars. I read it so fast. It was so entertaining. Literally perfect fantasy. This was the first fantasy I've ever read, and I'm hooked. I have now like 6 or 7 fantasy series that I'm reading. This did a really good job at getting me hooked into fantasy. I didn't want to put it down anytime I read it. When I did pick it up and read it, I read like a minimum of 100 pages at once, and when I stopped reading it, all I was thinking about was how I wanted to pick it up and read it again. So much happens in this book, and it's actually insane. There's so many things in this. And the main character, Evangeline, she's a boss. And she has a beautiful name, Evangeline. I love that for some reason. And the Prince of Hearts, Jax, has my heart. I love him. And we'll get more into that in a couple of seconds. I read The Kingdom of the Wicked next because I had to go find the second book to this as soon as possible. But in the meantime, I started reading this. This is a 4.5 star. It's extremely similar to this book, but this was a little bit better, so I gave this 4.5 stars. The main character is Amelia and Vittoria. They're witches. One of them die. Amelia then goes to like avenge her sister basically. And then I got the second book to Once Upon a Broken Heart, and it's The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. This one's the hardcover, which is so annoying because now I need to get the hardcover of the other one so they match. I gave this 4.7 stars. The thing that like made me rate it 4.7 and not 5-star is at the very end. The last 10 pages made me so upset. Oh my god. It literally, oh my god. My jaw was dropped for like 10 minutes after I read the last 10 pages of this because I could not comprehend. My mind was spiraling. It's insanity. The last 10 pages of this. The rest is incredible. The plot, or not the plot, the setting, so much fun. The characters, so much fun. Jax got even better in this one, and he's one of my favorite male characters in any book ever. And I have a story about the third book. After reading this, I was deeply affected. So I went to every bookstore that we passed along our route from Florida to Georgia. And then when I was in Georgia, after going into like 5 different bookstores, I looked it up because I was so confused why no one would have this book. Look it up and it doesn't come out. It doesn't come out yet. I asked several people that worked at these bookstores and they were like, yeah, that's a popular book. I don't know why we don't have it. I'm like, yeah, I don't know why either. It's because it's not out for like another month or 2 or something like that. It comes out in like August or September or October. And I don't know how I'm gonna wait even longer because I'm still thinking about that book every single day. Okay, anyway, we're gonna move on to The X Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I heard about this book for a very long time and I found it in a little library, like the free ones that are on the side of the road. Found this in Fort Lauderdale. She's perfect. The floppiness, ideal. I gave this 5 stars. This is a very lighthearted little romance. Enemies to lovers. The banter in this is perfection. There's some spice. Not too much spice, but like just the perfect amount. There's a lot of twists for this being such a like lighthearted romance. There's some twists that like made this book so good. And the ending of it was so cute. Basically, it's 2 people that don't like each other. They start a podcast together so that they don't lose their jobs. So they start the podcast and you get to see their relationship evolve. It's also fake dating, enemies to lovers, all the good stuff shoved into this book. Highly recommend, 5 stars. Then we have Kingdom of the Cursed, which is the second book to the Kingdom of the Wicked series. And I do have the third one ready for me to read, but right now I'm in a summer reading vibe, not fantasy at this moment. I gave it 3.5 stars. I didn't think it was quite as good as the first one, but it was still good. I just feel like the main character, Amelia, she wasn't as focused on like what she was trying to do, and she kept getting insanely distracted, and that was kind of annoying me because I'm like, girl, you just said you were gonna do this and now you're doing this. That's the opposite of what you want to do. Like, what? But the setting was so fun. The setting is in hell, and Wrath, the main guy character in this, starts becoming so cute, so romantic, so lovely. He's just like Jackson, the other one. I love both of them. This book is also very similar. Everything intertwines in both of these books. If you like Once Upon a Broken Heart, you're gonna like this series, and vice versa. They're both so similar and so good. Highly recommend. Then we get into June. I read Never Never by Colleen Hoover, and it was 6 stars. Like a solid 6 stars. The first, like, 50 pages were quite confusing just because like you're trying to get into the story and it literally starts off with them not knowing who they are. So like it's hard for you to know who they are, you know? But the love story throughout the book was so freaking cute, and I could have read about their love story for days. It's so freaking cute. Everything ties in so well. Jamais, jamais. That is so cute. The tattoos is so freaking cute. Like, literally everything in this book, I was like, that's adorable. And then the epilogue was so cute. My sister hated the epilogue. I loved it. I'm like, that is such a good way to, like, end the story and tie everything together, and I just thought it was so cute. Then I read Heartbones by Colleen Hoover, and this is also a 6-star read. 2 6 stars in a row. Absurd. This book had all of the emotions you could possibly feel. I cried like a minimum of 5 times. I rarely cry for books. Like, it's very rare. And I cried 5 times. Like, my eyes just kept going. They didn't want to stop. The volleyball part really got me, and it was the cutest thing ever. I loved it so much. There was a deep plot. It was based in summer. There was romance. There was drama. Like, everything you want in a good book, all shoved right in there. The ending was so satisfying because what you wanted to happen this whole book finally happens, and it's adorable, and I'm obsessed with it, and I'm obsessed with the little love story between the two main characters. My current read is The Good Girl Complex. This is gonna be a 4-star, maybe 4.5. I don't think it's gonna be a 5, but a solid 4 or 4.5 I can see happening. I am a little over halfway. Didn't finish this in time for the 6-month mark, but this will be at the end of the year, the reading wrap up, and you'll be able to see my final rating of it. The artwork is so cute. I'm obsessed with the cover. But that is going to be it. That is all the books I've read in the first 6 months of the year. I hope you loved it. If you have any suggestions for what I should read either this summer or just in general for the rest of the year, make sure you comment that down below. If you like this video, give it a big like, turn on bell notifications to get notified every time I post a new video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.